personal data, and it's interesting. I've met companies like, I think it was Baidu in China. They're making an autonomous car. Google is making an autonomous car. What operating system or search engine people making cars? There is, I think, an entertainment company in China called LeTV. It's basically the Netflix of China. They're making an autonomous car. What? And of course, it's because it's the data that they collect and the service they provide when you're on board an autonomous car. So, who owns the data that autonomous vehicles store and capture about you? Who controls how it is used, and how is your personal information protected? I'll start with John, and then Emma, and Robin, and then Klaus.
And I think the answer to that is just the same as the answer to the question, who owns the data when you use Google, or who owns the data when you shop from Amazon? I don't think there's a special category here. It is, that's the solution. We have to work it out as a society.
And so maybe you'll get into an autonomous car and you'll click the button that says, either I agree to the terms and conditions, I haven't read them but I'll agree to them, or no, I don't want this journey being recorded.
That's the parallel,
yeah.
Yes, and if you don't want the journey being recorded, it stops and you don't go anywhere.
Emma, it seems to be the compromise that we make at the moment, that we have a free or a low-cost service because we're giving up some of our personal data. Would you say that the information about you as a person, how you behave, the routes you take, is a fair price to pay to get the cost of these vehicles down a little bit?
Yes. I use all the other services, and I probably should think about it a bit more, and I don't, about how my data is used, who gets it, and I don't, because I just use the thing and it gets used, and I have a nice time watching The Good Place on Netflix or whatever. I already use Uber a lot, which records all my journeys. We often say, just as a side note, we often say that Uber is the closest thing to driverless cars that we have at the moment, and we use it very much to that extent. Robin uses it all the time in London. But data, yeah, I'll probably take a hit on that to get the cars as I need them to be. Yes.
Robin?
I think the bigger kind of overarching issue here is about privacy, and I think the concept and the meaning of the term privacy is actually changing pretty rapidly. So I would say it's fluid, and for different generations it means different things. And actually, as someone who's using Google Home, Amazon Echo, gosh, the HomePod for 2 weeks when it came out, and a whole bunch of other technologies, Google Maps, Uber, Netflix, the lot, actually there's a massive amount of information being sucked in about what I'm doing, where I am, who I'm with. I don't think any of it's really all that interesting to me. I don't think I'm doing anything particularly unusual. And actually, I think people need to reassess what they're actually giving away. So when you post a really nice picture of a sunset to Facebook, as I often do, I'm actually giving that picture to Facebook. It's no longer mine. So I just need to be comfortable with that notion, and with the notion that I'm being tracked. So I think who owns the data? Ultimately the individual is the architect. There's an ongoing conversation about legally where that ultimately resides.
And of course the distraction was, we thought we were just giving away, we're tweeting about cats, but actually, as we found out with the Cambridge Analytica thing, which I've been following since 2012, if you collect enough data about enough people, you can start to really tell things and actually possibly even influence people's decisions. So Klaus, very briefly, is there any hint about whether we would be able to own our own data when we use autonomous cars, or is that just a price we've got to pay?
Let me make a comparison to the healthcare sector. We know from transaction in the healthcare sector that the complete set of data of one person is being paid for between $30,000 to $50,000.
That's how much their data is worth.
Yeah, one person's data in the healthcare sector is figured about $30,000 to $50,000. Now we do the same round again, whether we give away our data that easily, or shouldn't we think as individuals how much worth is it in the context of autonomous driving, and probably we should take a different position when we consent, and to what price we consent to other companies making use of our data and making them rich because they have access to our data. So I would be very careful before answering this question. I'm not decided that we do it this way or that way. I think we just have to be more careful when we're discussing this, because data is the greatest value chain that we have in our economy in this world.
Okay, we've probably got time for one more question. So.